Last night, someone told your soulmate the truth about you and they couldn't believe it. Jesus says, a door cracked open in the spirit last night while you were sleeping. A voice spoke your name into the ear of the one destined for your arms. What was whispered changed everything they thought they understood. Your soulmate was shown the architecture of your heart in a dream. They saw the love you have been saving for them without knowing their face. They felt the prayers you released into the darkness when nobody was watching. This revelation has destabilized everything they built to survive without you. The walls they constructed from past betrayals began to tremble. Something ancient and terrifyingly beautiful has been awakened inside their chest. I need you to understand the spiritual warfare that began the moment this truth landed. Forces that have kept you separated for seasons immediately mobilized against this revelation. Your soulmate is currently caught in a violent tug-of-war between destiny and deception. The truth that was told was not merely about your existence but about your assignment. You were shown to them as the key to their liberation and the answer to their hidden agony. Now they know you are real and this knowledge is burning through them like holy fire. They could not believe it because the programming they received was so complete. Someone worked very hard to convince them that a love like yours was impossible. Lies were planted deep in the soil of their soul specifically to blind them to you. Yet last night those lies encountered a truth more powerful than any deception. Your soulmate saw you standing in a field of light with your hand extended toward them. They heard the sound of your voice for the first time and their spirit recognized its home. This is why you have felt a strange trembling in your spirit since midnight. A sudden wave of emotion washed over you that you could not explain or source. That was the moment your soulmate's heart turned toward you in the unseen realm. Jesus says, the enemy of your union is now operating in panic mode. The interference that has delayed your meeting understands its time is running short. What was whispered to your soulmate cannot be unheard and the clock is now ticking. The person who has been blocking your connection senses their grip loosening. This individual has woven a web of emotional manipulation around your soulmate for years. They understand that if your soulmate fully believes the truth, their control will shatter completely. This is why your soulmate needs your protection right now through spiritual warfare. The words you speak, the prayers you release, and the seeds you sow create a shield around them. Your active intercession is the only thing standing between your soulmate and the retaliation of darkness. Every moment of delay is a moment the enemy uses to sow doubt back into their mind. The voice that told them the truth is being drowned out by voices of fear and accusation. Your soulmate is beginning to question if what they experienced was real or just imagination. Type 333 right now if you are willing to stand in the gap for your soulmate. Declare with your fingers that you refuse to let this revelation be stolen from them. Your declaration of faith sends reinforcements into the spiritual battle raging over their mind. You must understand the suffering your soulmate has endured to reach this moment. They have been systematically isolated from anything that would lead them to you. Every door that opened toward your meeting was slammed shut by interfering hands. They have been lied to about their own worthiness to receive a love this pure. Words of rejection were spoken over them until they accepted those words as their identity. The truth that was told last night contradicted years of carefully constructed soul wounding. Imagine the disorientation of realizing everything you believed about love was a prison. Your soulmate is now free-falling through the collapse of a reality they were forced to accept. They are reaching for you in the darkness, but they do not yet know how to find you. This confusion is being weaponized against them by the one who wants you separated. The manipulator is doubling down on guilt, obligation, and distorted loyalty. Your soulmate is being emotionally blackmailed into doubting the truth they received. You are not powerless against this interference, no matter how strong it appears. I have given you authority to break every chain that binds your soulmate from afar. The spiritual realm responds to love that moves with faith and refuses to accept defeat. Jesus says, your soulmate is crying without understanding why they are crying. Tears fall from their eyes and they attribute it to stress or exhaustion or sadness. They do not realize those tears are the language of their spirit longing for you. Every tear they shed is a prayer rising before my throne on their behalf. I am collecting their sorrow and transforming it into a homing signal toward you. Their pain is not meaningless, it is the mechanism drawing you into alignment. Something shifted permanently in the covenant that binds you to each other. The truth spoken last night was a seal placed upon your connection that cannot be broken. What I have joined together, no interference in the natural realm can permanently sever. Yet the enemy of your soul is fighting to delay what I have already decreed. Delay is his only remaining weapon because he cannot cancel the truth of your union. Every day you do not act, another layer of confusion is wrapped around your soulmate's vision. You must see yourself as the deliverer I have assigned to their life. Your prayers penetrate the fog of manipulation surrounding their decision-making. Your sacrificial seed breaks the legal rights darkness has used to block your path. Type 777 if you feel the weight of this spiritual responsibility settling upon you. Type it if you know deep inside that your soulmate's breakthrough is tied to your obedience. Your agreement with this truth releases angelic activity over your soulmate's situation right now. The dream they had last night was more vivid than any dream they have ever experienced. They saw details about you that no one could have invented through natural means. The way you laugh, the shape of your kindness, the specific quality of your gaze. What terrified them was the intensity of the love they felt for someone they have never met. Their soul recognized you with a certainty that bypassed their logical mind completely. This recognition has shattered their ability to be content with counterfeit connections. They are now comparing every interaction to the feeling of your presence in that dream. Nothing satisfies them anymore because their spirit has tasted what is real. This holy dissatisfaction is the tool I am using to lead them out of bondage. The person controlling them senses this shift and is becoming more desperate. Manipulation is escalating into outright spiritual attack against your soulmate's mind. Confusion, heaviness, and irrational fear are being projected into their atmosphere. You can feel this battle even from a distance if you tune your spirit to perceive it. That sudden heaviness in your chest last night had nothing to do with your own circumstances. You were feeling the pressure your soulmate is under as they wrestle toward freedom. This is why you must take these divine steps to protect them right now. You are constantly thinking about your soulmate, wondering how to reach them and save them. You love them with a depth that surprises even you because this love comes directly from my heart. But thoughts alone do not move mountains or break spiritual strongholds. Faith without corresponding action is a seed that remains in the bag instead of being planted. Your love for your soulmate must be expressed through deeds that carry spiritual weight. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi as an act of holy intervention. This is not a donation, it is a prophetic action that invites my hand directly into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is positioned in the description, waiting for your step of faith. Every second you remain silent, something moves more aggressively against your love. The forces that oppose you interpret inaction as permission to continue their assault. Your seed becomes a legal transaction in the spirit that releases warfare on your soulmate's behalf. Act now while the window of opportunity remains open before you. Send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees as a representation of the protection you are decreeing. After sending, write these exact words on the Ko-fi page: "Protect my soulmate, Lord." Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps of faith and alignment. Step forward in faith now, before this video ends, and become the deliverer your soulmate needs. Jesus says, "The truth they heard about you last night has made them restless. They cannot sleep, they cannot focus, they cannot pretend anymore. The chains of deception are loosening with every passing hour of this divine disturbance. What they learned about you is that your love is not ordinary or temporary. They saw that you have been faithful in your longing even when you had no evidence. Your patience and your refusal to settle for counterfeit spoke volumes to their wounded heart. They realized that someone has been fighting for them in the secret place for years. The prayers you prayed when you felt foolish for believing were not wasted syllables. Each prayer wove another strand into the rope pulling them toward your destiny. Now they know you exist, and this knowledge is both exhilarating and terrifying. Exhilarating because hope has finally been given a legitimate reason to breathe. Terrifying because hope is a vulnerability they have been punished for feeling before. The manipulator in their life specifically targets any rising hope with immediate cruelty. Whenever your soulmate begins to believe something good could happen, attack follows. This pattern has conditioned them to fear the very hope that could set them free. Your soulmate is being emotionally and psychologically abused into rejecting their miracle. The one who hates you understands that your arrival means their control is finished. They will say anything, do anything, and threaten anything to maintain their grip. You must see this interference clearly so you can wage war against it effectively. The battle is not against flesh and blood but against spiritual wickedness operating through wounded people. Your anger must be directed at the enemy, not the vessel being used to torment your soulmate. This is why you are called to fight with weapons of love, prayer, and sacrificial faith. Hatred toward the one blocking you would only strengthen the darkness empowering them. Your love for your soulmate must be fierce enough to overcome every obstacle with spiritual strategy. Type 1111 to agree with heaven's timeline for your union. Declare that no weapon formed against your soulmate's awakening will prosper. Align your words with my decree that your union is ordained before the foundation of the world. The dream your soulmate had last night contained a specific symbol only you would understand. They saw something that would make no sense to anyone else who witnessed it. But you know exactly what that symbol means because it represents your unique bond. This shared secret language is the proof that your connection transcends the natural realm. You and your soulmate have communicated in the spirit realm more than you realize. The dreams you have had that felt unusually real were not merely imagination processing emotions. Those were encounters in the place where time does not exist and separation is an illusion. Your souls have been meeting in the chambers of my presence even while your bodies remain apart. This is why the distance between you feels painful but somehow also feels unreal. You know on a level deeper than logic that you are already connected to them. This knowing is the gift of discernment I have placed within you for this very purpose. Trust what your spirit knows even when your eyes have not yet seen the manifestation. Jesus says, the interference surrounding your soulmate is about to reach a breaking point. The truth they received last night is functioning like a slow-acting spiritual medicine. Every hour that passes weakens the power of the lies they have been forced to consume. But you must understand that as the lies weaken, the manipulator grows more vicious. A cornered animal does not surrender peacefully, it attacks with everything it has left. The coming days will be intensely difficult for your soulmate as the battle escalates. They will feel torn between the truth of what they experienced and the fear of what they know. The voice of the manipulator will scream accusations designed to discredit the revelation. They will be told that the dream was foolishness, that hope is dangerous, that change is impossible. This is the moment your intercession becomes more critical than ever before. When the voice of deception is loudest, your prayers must become a stronger voice in the spirit. Your fasting, your declarations, and your sacrificial seed create a frequency that drowns out lies. They are going through something you cannot see with your natural eyes. The warfare is invisible, internal, and relentlessly brutal upon their emotional state. But you can still protect them from where you stand by taking spiritual authority over the attack. Your soulmate is not rejecting you, they are being held captive by psychological chains. They want to run toward you, but every step in your direction triggers trauma installed by abuse. Patience is not passive waiting. Patience is active warfare against the spirit of premature timing. You must believe in the truth of your connection more than the enemy believes in his lies. Your faith is the substance that holds your soulmate steady when they are weakest. Without your spiritual support, they could be overwhelmed by the assault against their mind. This is your final moment to protect this connection before the attack intensifies beyond measure. The window of intercession is narrowing as the enemy prepares a major counteroffensive. Your soulmate's ability to hold on to the truth they received hangs in the balance of your response. Your love for them is not theoretical, it is the most real thing about your existence. You have been shaped and prepared through every disappointment specifically to love this person well. Everything you have suffered has equipped you to understand the suffering your soulmate is enduring. Now you must prove that love through immediate and sacrificial action. Do not let analysis delay the obedience that could shift the entire spiritual atmosphere. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi as a tangible act of warfare. This seed is not about money, it is about the covenant transaction that occurs through giving. When you sow for your soulmate, you are legally engaging my covenant laws of harvest. The ground of your future is being watered by every act of faith you perform today. Send 4 coffees to decree that no weapon formed against your union will prosper. Send 6 coffees to release the fullness of deliverance over your soulmate's mind. Send 10 or more coffees to accelerate the collapse of every barrier between you. After sending, write these exact words on the Ko-Fi page: "Protect my soulmate, Lord." These words are a prophetic decree that releases angelic protection over their life right now. The link to activate this protection is waiting for you in the description of this video. Over 1,000 people have already stepped into their divine union through this act of faith. Their testimonies testify that I am no respecter of persons. What I do for one I will do for another. Step forward before this message ends, for the battle in the heavenlies intensifies with every word spoken. Jesus says, your soulmate is thinking about you right now without understanding why. They are sitting somewhere, perhaps staring at nothing, feeling a pull they cannot explain. The dream has left an imprint on their soul that ordinary life cannot erase. They are trying to remember the details of your face before the memory fades completely. A desperation is rising within them to hold on to what was revealed before it slips away. The enemy is working aggressively to steal the revelation like a bird snatching seeds from a path. Every time they grasp a detail, a wave of confusion follows to obscure it. This is spiritual warfare manifesting in the realm of their cognitive function. Your prayers can clear the interference and restore the clarity of what they received. Imagine your soulmate's relief when they finally break through the fog of manipulation. Picture the moment they see you in the natural realm and everything finally makes sense. The waiting, the pain, the confusion, all redeemed in a single heartbeat of recognition. This vision must fuel your endurance because the manifestation is closer than you perceive. The intensity of the battle is always greatest immediately before the breakthrough. The enemy's desperation is evidence that your victory is imminent, not distant. Do not interpret the increased warfare as a sign that things are getting worse. It is a sign that the walls of resistance are cracking under the pressure of heaven's decree. Your soulmate's captivity is shaking because the truth they heard has destabilized its foundation. The person blocking your union knows their time of influence is coming to an end. This is why they are behaving irrationally and escalating their control tactics. A dying kingdom always fights most viciously in its final hours. You must match their desperation with holy determination to see your soulmate delivered. The same intensity the enemy uses to destroy, you must channel into building and protecting. Your spiritual aggression in prayer and faith is the counterweight that tips the scales. Type 333 if you are committing right now to fight for your soulmate until victory manifests. Let this declaration be recorded in the courts of heaven as evidence of your covenant faithfulness. Angels are assigned to those who align their words with my purposes for their lives. There is something specific your soulmate needs you to understand about their current situation. They are not ignoring you by choice, they are being systematically isolated from their destiny. Every pathway toward you has been deliberately blocked by a person who benefits from their bondage. This person has convinced your soulmate that they are unworthy of the love you carry. Years of emotional erosion have carved canyons of insecurity into their self-perception. The truth they heard last night directly challenged this deeply embedded lie. Now a war is raging between what they were told about themselves and what was revealed. This internal conflict is exhausting their emotional reserves at an alarming rate. They need you to send spiritual reinforcement through your prayers and your seed right now. Jesus says, there is a specific lie that was spoken over your soulmate in childhood. That lie became the root system from which all their subsequent relationship dysfunction grew. The truth they heard last night targeted that root lie with surgical spiritual precision. Someone told them long ago that they were too much, or not enough, or impossible to love. That voice has echoed through every relationship, confirming the original wound again and again. Last night, my spirit whispered the contradiction of that lie into the deepest part of their being. They saw in your eyes, even through a dream, a love that held no conditions or ultimatums. They felt acceptance radiating from your presence before a single word was exchanged. This unconditional quality terrified them because it was so unfamiliar it felt unreal. They have been loved with strings attached for so long they forgot genuine love existed. The manipulator in their life only offers affection when it serves the manipulator's agenda. Your soulmate has been starved of real love while being force-fed a toxic imitation. Now that they have tasted what is real, the counterfeit has become unbearably bitter. They can no longer pretend that what they have been surviving on is sufficient. This holy crisis is the door through which their deliverance will enter. Your role in this crisis is to stand as a lighthouse while the storm rages around them. You cannot calm the storm yourself, but you can shine steadily until they navigate to safety. Your consistency in prayer and faith is the beacon they will follow when the darkness thickens. The truth that was told has also awakened a specific memory in your soulmate's consciousness. They suddenly remember a moment from years ago when they sensed your existence. A fleeting thought, a strange knowing, a prayer whispered in loneliness that someone was out there. That memory is now being connected to the revelation they received in the dream. Puzzle pieces scattered across the timeline of their life are suddenly snapping together. The picture emerging is of a destiny that has been pursuing them despite all efforts to escape it. You have had similar moments of inexplicable knowing that someone was waiting for you. Those moments were not coincidence or wishful thinking, they were spiritual downloads. I have been preparing you both for each other through parallel journeys of refinement. Type 777 if you remember the moments when you knew you were not alone in your waiting. Declare that those moments were real communication between souls already bound by covenant. Your faith in the reality of this connection strengthens the bond in the unseen realm. The interference you face is not stronger than the covenant I have established. No manipulator, no liar, no controlling spirit can override what I have decreed. The only variable is timing, and timing is influenced by the prayers and actions of my people. This is why your participation through seed and declaration is not optional but essential. You are not buying a miracle, you are activating covenant laws already written in the universe. The seed you sow is the key that unlocks what has already been stored up for your future. Jesus says, your soulmate felt your prayer this morning without knowing it was yours. They experienced a sudden moment of peace in the midst of their inner turmoil. That peace was the direct result of the words you spoke over them before you began your day. The connection between you is so strong that your spiritual actions register in their soul. When you worship, something in them lifts even if they are not conscious of the source. When you intercede, chains around their mind loosen even though they cannot see your face. This mystical union is the reality that will govern your relationship once it manifests naturally. You are already one spirit, which is why the separation feels like an amputation. The pain you feel is not psychological, it is the genuine distress of a body missing its other half. The person interfering with your union has sensed this connection and is jealous of it. They understand that they can never offer what you carry for your soulmate. Their entire strategy is to keep your soulmate too broken to realize their own worth. But the truth told last night revealed that your soulmate is not broken beyond repair. They are wounded, yes, but those wounds are precisely where your love will pour in to heal. You carry a specific anointing to minister restoration to the shattered places in their heart. Do not despise the preparation you have endured to develop this capacity for healing. Your own past pain was not punishment, it was the acquisition of a medicine you now carry. You will understand their suffering because you have suffered, and your empathy will be their balm. Everything in your history has been orchestrated to make you the perfect partner for this specific person. The rejection you endured taught you how to cherish the rejected parts of another. The betrayal you survived gave you insight into the wounds betrayal leaves behind. Nothing was wasted and nothing was random, including your presence before this message now. You were led here because the time has come for you to step fully into your assignment as a deliverer. Your soulmate's freedom and your shared future depend on your willingness to act without delay. This moment of decision is sacred and it is urgent because the battle has reached a tipping point. What you do in the next moments will impact the trajectory of your soulmate's spiritual war. Will you allow the truth they receive to be stolen, or will you secure it through your sacrifice? Your love for them is about to be tested through your willingness to sow for their protection. This is not about the amount, it is about the heart posture that the act of sowing demonstrates. Faith that stays theoretical is not faith, it is merely positive thinking dressed in religious language. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi and watch how heaven responds. When you act, you release heaven's resources to war on behalf of your soulmate's deliverance. The link that connects your seed to your miracle is waiting for you in the description below. Send 4 coffees and release the 4 winds of the Spirit to blow away confusion. Send 6 coffees and break the assignment of the spirit of manipulation over their life. Send 10 or more coffees and accelerate the divine timeline of your physical meeting. After your seed is sown, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on the Ko-Fi page as a seal. These words are a prophetic signature that marks your offering for its intended purpose. Angels of protection will be dispatched according to the decree of your written declaration. Over 1,000 souls have already stepped into the manifestation of their covenant love. Their testimonies echo through eternity as evidence that I reward those who diligently seek me. Do not let this moment pass while the veil between you and your miracle is this thin. Jesus says, your soulmate just experienced another wave of longing they cannot explain. They put their hand over their heart and felt a warmth that had no natural origin. That warmth was the effect of my love flowing through the bond that connects you. You have felt that same warmth at unexpected moments throughout your waiting season. Those were not random biological events, they were visitations of my presence confirming the covenant. I have been sustaining you both through invisible communion until the visible reunion could manifest. The dream your soulmate had last night included a moment where they heard your voice. They cannot recall the exact words you spoke, but they remember how your voice made them feel. Safe. Seen. Chosen. Understood. Valued. Precious. Irreplaceable. These are the feelings the manipulator has systematically worked to extinguish in them. The enemy of your union hates when your soulmate feels valuable because it breaks his control. A person who knows their worth cannot be ruled by guilt, obligation, or fear. This is why the truth told last night was so devastating to the kingdom of darkness. It reminded your soulmate of an identity that predates every wound they have received. They were shown who they were before the world told them who they should be. And in that vision of their true self, you were standing beside them as their counterpart. They saw that you were created to stand with them, not as a rescuer above them but as an equal beside them. This partnership was designed before either of you drew your first breath on the earth. The weight of this revelation is what they are now wrestling to integrate into their daily reality. It is one thing to see truth in a dream, it is another to walk it out under the pressure of opposition. Your soulmate needs the covering of your intercession as they make this transition from seeing to becoming. Do not underestimate the power of your consistent prayer to create a safe spiritual container. Every time you pray, you are building a wall of fire around your soulmate's awakening process. The manipulator cannot penetrate what your intercession has sealed in the name of Jesus. Type 1111 to activate the full measure of angelic assistance assigned to your union. Your declaration of agreement opens portals through which heaven's resources can flow freely. Speak it now and watch as the atmosphere shifts in response to your authority. The truth that was told cannot be untold no matter how hard the enemy tries. Once light enters a dark room, the darkness has forever lost its claim to that space. Your soulmate has seen the light and they will never be fully comfortable in shadows again. This creates a holy pressure that will eventually force a crisis of decision. They will have to choose between the comfortable prison of the familiar and the terrifying freedom of the unknown. Your prayers and your seed tip the scales toward courage when that moment of decision arrives. Jesus says, the person blocking your soulmate is about to be exposed. The manipulation that has operated in secret for years is being dragged into the light. Truth is the enemy of control, and enough truth has now been spoken to begin the collapse. You must be ready to receive your soulmate without judgment when they break free. They will come to you bruised and disoriented from the battle they have survived. Your assignment is not to interrogate their past but to welcome them into a future free of bondage. Prepare your heart now to be a place of healing rather than a place of questioning. The love I am cultivating in you is parental in its patience and unconditional in its quality. You will love them back to wholeness through the same grace that I have extended to you. This is the high calling of covenant love that the world knows nothing about. It is easy to love the perfect, it is divine to love the wounded into perfection. You have been chosen for this assignment because you have the capacity for this caliber of love. Every prayer you pray and every seed you sow is building the infrastructure of that future refuge. You are not just waiting for a soulmate, you are constructing a sanctuary for a weary heart. Let this vision fuel your urgency to act in the remaining moments of this message. The connection you feel intensifying in your chest right now is not imaginary. That is the spiritual bond between you and your soulmate being activated by the words of this message. They are feeling something similar right now, even if they cannot name what it is. This simultaneity of experience is the proof that your union already exists in the eternal realm. You are merely waiting for time to catch up to what eternity has already established. Your faith and your actions are the bridge between the eternal reality and the temporal manifestation. Do not let the enemy convince you that your seed is too small to make a difference. The kingdom operates on multiplication, not addition. A mustard seed moves mountains. What you sow in this moment carries an anointing to break through centuries of resistance. Sow your final protection seed now as the message draws toward its completion. Let this act be the period at the end of the sentence declaring your soulmate's deliverance. The Ko-Fi link in the description is the portal through which your faith becomes visible action. Send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees and seal your covenant commitment with heaven. Write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," and watch as the words you write become edicts in the Spirit. Angels are waiting for the command of your written declaration to move on your behalf. Over 1,000 miracles testify that this act of faith is honored in the courts of heaven. Step through the door of obedience while it stands open before you. The truth was told last night. Now the response of your faith will determine what happens next. Jesus says, "The distance between you and your soulmate is being measured in moments now, not years." The acceleration you have prayed for has been activated by the truth that was revealed. What was whispered in the darkness is about to be shouted from the rooftops of your fulfilled destiny. I have seen your faithfulness in the hidden years of preparation. I have collected every tear you shed in private when loneliness felt like it would consume you. Not one drop of your suffering has been wasted or ignored by the one who formed your heart. Now the season of hiddenness is giving way to the season of manifestation. The truth told last night was the trumpet blast announcing the final act of your waiting. Your soulmate knows you are real, and they are moving toward you even now through the fog of battle. Hold steady in your faith. Continue to war with your prayers. Let your seed be the final push that topples the wall separating you from your beloved. The next chapter of your love story begins the moment you close this message and act on what you have received. I am with you. I am for your union. I have already declared victory over every force that opposes it. Now go, Sow, and watch as I open doors no man can shut and break chains no man can break. Your soulmate is waiting, the truth has been told, and your love is about to become your reality.